So in the meantime, I'm going to start sharing my screen, but can you please share in the chat who are your customers and what your company does? And I'm going to start sharing here. Nobody? My wig's awkward. Enterprise companies. Okay, thank you, Gonzalo. Tourism startup. Okay. Foreign customers, B2B mainly. Excellent. Thank you, Felipe. All right. Well, thanks again for sharing. Diana is B2B. Eduardo is SMEs from Chile. Like Hubspot, we also target small and medium businesses all over the world. So it's a great target to have. We have some GovTech here. Thank you all for sharing. So today, what I wanted to give you is a very general review on just how to get set up with HubSpot. I want to say some of the most essential functionalities that are going to be driving value for you very quickly, and that would be quite easy to implement. But I also want to show you some of the AI functionalities because everything is AI right now, and I'm really excited for the things that are happening at HubSpot with the product and AI. So I'd be more than happy to share those with you. And yes, thank you for sharing, Tere. If you want to learn more about our program, HubSpot for Startups, open your free account and get some awesome pricing, make sure to check that link that Tere shared with you. And with that, let's get started. So HubSpot, for those of you who don't know, it's a go-to-market platform, right? We want to be a part of every single stage in which your customers are. And that means that as founders, you've probably been either reaching out to some new customers, you're getting some traction from them, you could be validating your product, or if you have a validated product, you are looking to scale, right? All of these processes can be performed with our HubSpot tools, right? So I wanted to show you a little bit how to get started. And when we do go to market, what do we want to achieve? What is the first step? When we're talking to customers, when we're doing campaigns, what would be the most important thing to have on a database? And that would be customer information, not only maybe their emails, their names, their phone numbers, or some specific demographics, but potentially also the activities that they're executing and how they are interacting with our content. So one of the first recommended steps after opening your HubSpot account with the link that Tere shared, is to include these extensions. We use Chrome. I think that is the best browser for HubSpot. And this will allow you to add this extension that you are looking at here. And this has several functions. The first one is that once you have your contacts in your database, you're going to be able to see live what their interactions are, the interactions that are going on with your emails and your content. This is the actual example of the interactions that my partners have done with me. So I can tell when somebody booked a meeting with me, when somebody opened an email, when somebody checked a document, when someone clicked on a link that I shared on a document. And this uh, is also going to get registered on your CRM. Seba, you have a question?
Yeah, it's a bit off topic. I actually am a user of HubSpot. We this extension is also great. Just wondering, I already have a contract in place with HubSpot. Am I still eligible for the perk here or no?
It depends. Like we can offer the startup pricing retroactive. I mean, we cannot offer it retroactively to current contracts that you already have. But for new products or upgrades from starter to professional, you're going to be able to apply the 90% off. My my advice is that you apply to the program, and that will guarantee that you get the best pricing uh, for eligible products.
Perfect.
But yes, thanks, Eva. Are you happy with HubSpot? Don't answer if it's not.
No, I am happy. But I did try to go for this perk and did not like have very good response from my counterpart. And like in the perk, it says you have to raise like have raised before like 2 million, which I think at least deviates a bit from. I don't know. I was generally confused with the perk, I think, but HubSpot in itself is great.
Yeah, and for those questions, definitely reach out to Tere, because since you're part of the Startup Chile, you do get some assistance from our team that is going to help you support with that. So feel free to,
Thanks.
to reach out to us. Um, so as Seba mentioned, this extension works really well because it's going to start tracking all the activities. And with the Gmail extension, you will be able to record every single interaction that you're having. This also has for Outlook and other email providers. But you can see here that I'm going to have like a little HubSpot sprocket here. And let's say that I wanted to write an email to Tere, right? So here, if I pull out Tere's contact, I'm going to see her information right here on the right. And I can edit this information from my Gmail and see, the company, open it at the CRM, see the main properties about Tere, and I also get some HubSpot functionalities directly here, right? So I'm gonna get templates. I will be able to include meeting links, and I'm gonna show you the meeting link, how they work and what they're important, tasks, or maybe enroll Tere in a sequence, right? So very easily from here, let's say that I want to send Tere a sequence of emails. This one is one of the sequences when partners apply. So you can see that I can enroll Tere in a 3 to 4 email sequence to make sure that HubSpot follows up for me. I enroll Tere and I forget about following up with further interactions, right? Tere would get 4 emails if I enroll her here, which I'm not going to do, Tere. But this, is one of the essential steps. And again, what do you want to do with your CRM? It's starting to feed all the information that you can. So now that you have this, you will be able to go to your HubSpot account. In general, it's going to look like this. It's going to take you to the dashboard. At the beginning, you're going to get a lot of product hand holding with functionalities. And you have the navigation bar here with the different tools. This account, of course, has a lot of the tools because it's a demo account, but you can see that you can access everything from here. And you can go, for example, to the contact records or company records or any specific databases that you're going to have inside HubSpot. So when you go to your contact records, this is what it looks like. You're going to be able to see all the different properties that you have. And of course, let's say that I did an event in Chile and I want to see which contacts would be from the region. So I can use these filters just to include the different countries that I want to target and see how many of my contacts would meet these different criteria, right? So you can see that one in my database is located in Chile. I can also save these views, so I can very easily access the different, I want to say, segments that we created, or lists, or folders, or you name it. Uh, we can create those tabs so we have easy access to all these properties. So now you have set this up. Of course, you might have a list of contacts. You might be using a Google Drive or another provider. So you want to bring your contacts into your CRM. You can do this either by syncing from apps, but what I'm going to show you today is how to import, for example, from a CSV. Again, it's very important to feed information into your CRM. That's the purpose. And that is what is going to give you the power to do this. So in this case, let's say that I have a contact list. I'm going to choose how to import them. I'm going to access my computer. If I downloaded maybe a CSV, I'm going to look for the contact list, and I'm gonna upload it to Hubspot, right? Oh, let me see. I think I have one example here. So this could be an export. And once you do this, HubSpot is going to identify the different properties, tell you examples of these different properties that it identified on the file. And if it doesn't find one, it's gonna tell you that it hasn't mapped, so you can uh, tie it to one specific property that that you have had. So this could be, for example, a phone number, or it could be a contact ID, um, any property that you can find here. So let's use phone number, right? Once you have this, this is another. This could be the mobile phone number, or you can create a new one, right? And then you can very easily export. I'm going to say that to create a list from this, and I'm going to finish the import. So very simple. If you can update all these records, it's going to show you how many of these records is going to be updating. And again, it's going to create a list or segments, we call them now, into your HubSpot account. So now you have a list of your contacts, right? You have a list of leads, you have a list of customers. I always recommend that we work in creating the properties that make the most sense for our companies. What do I mean by this? Maybe you've heard about the ICP, or buyer persona. Basically is the ideal representation of a customer for you, right? I'll give you an example. For HubSpot, one ICP or buyer persona could be a startup founder, actually, or it could be Marketing Michelle, which is she's a marketing director from a small and medium companies, right? Always remember that your customers are human beings, right? It's not a company that purchases from you. It's a human being that makes the decision from this company. So when you're doing go-to-market strategies, it is fundamental that you understand what does this human being look like, right? What's the buyer persona? Create a customer profile for them. That is very important, and it's more important today than ever, because with AI, everything is going to be about how good you're at identifying and targeting those ICPs. So uh, before working on adjusting the properties to your company, I would recommend to build this buyer persona profile. There are many ways to do this. 1 or 2 years ago, we would used to do it, maybe reaching out to customers and interviewing them, doing like a anthropologic study of these customers, asking them about their goals, their challenges, how they like to interact with software. Um, Other recommendations would be, just if you don't have a lot of traction, maybe imagine what kind of people are going to make the buying decision for your company and go and try to interview them, right? And build this buyer persona or ICP profile. With the GPTs, now you don't need to go out and do this. You can even simulate, I was reading today, you can simulate focus groups with ChatGPT. So, I mean, it's a very cheap way to do this market research and this anthropological research for your ideal customers. In this example, I connected my ChatGPT to HubSpot, actually to my CRM. We have a connector. And I told them, based on my close won deals, create a buyer persona or ICP profile for my company. I use please in case they become super intelligent, so they remember that I was nice to them. And what ChatGPT does is that it's going to go into my CRM, is going to read the successful deals that my company had, and it's going to understand which profiles are most likely to purchase from. And from there, it's going to suggest a customer profile from them, right? In this case, my CRM, I work with VCs, with incubators, accelerators. So it drew a very, very comprehensive profile on my ICP based on actual data from my CRM, right? I can start working from there for everything, right? I ask it to maybe suggest some blog title content that would be interest from them to rank them in difficulty. I also suggested, asked GPT, tell me which properties, as an example, location, age range, amongst others, would be best to capture and identify these buyer personas. And it gave me a list of properties, that could be very generic, like region, organization name, organization type, of course, but it also suggested some really cool properties that are very custom to our program, like if they offer perks to their companies. That is very important to know for us regarding our partners, if they have education or support in marketing and sales, right? So it gives me great ideas on properties that I can use to identify and target and segment this list of contacts that I have. So the next step, I can also ask HubSpot to create a new ICP, and it's going to be stored also as a property inside my CRM. Once we have the ICP and we understand the properties, we can go ahead and create those properties for my contacts, right? In this case, it was suggesting to create a property about whether they have or don't have a perks program. So I'm going to go to settings. I'm going to close this. This is a new tour. Whoops. I think I navigated to the wrong place. I'm going to go to customize properties. You can see the different properties that I have here, and I can add these different properties. Sorry, sometimes HubSpot is a little shy when you're sharing screen. I add this different to my record so I can see them here. And then I can also go, wait, they just changed the UX. And thank you, Ana. Yeah, and you can ask it everything, like summarize my last interaction with Tere from Startup Chile, and it's going to go to the CRM and pull and summarize it for you, or give me the next steps that we planned with Tere in our last call, and it's going to say, okay, let's do this and that, and you're going to send me an email about this. And if you have it since with the different like video recordings or something like that, you can use that information as well just to pull it from ChatGPT. In the future, we are hoping I mean, maybe there's going to be a way that you can use the ChatGPT interface to edit properties in HubSpot, but for now, it only pulls information from your CRM. So you can see that we can again create a property. Right now, it's you can prompt the property, but in this case, we're going to create it manually. And let's say offer perks. This is a company property. You can group it in company information. Do they offer perks? And any issues, this always happen. Oh, the filter, yes. So this is going to be, say, a single checkbox because it's yes or no. And then I can see the property, how it's created. And you can check or not check. And it's going to show up now in your contacts if you want to add it here, right? So this is failing today. Oh, I didn't save it, of course. So here you go. Your property is ready and should be here now. Well, you should be able to see it here. I don't know. But you get the idea. And once you've defined and identified which properties are the best to select the buyer persona, to understand if that person that you have in your CRM is your buyer persona, what's the next step? Well, you need to feed the information into to enrich the information that you have on your CRM. You need to understand if those contacts, for example, would be marketing directors or they would be sales directors or startup founders, or if they meet these criteria that you set up for the buyer persona. And one way, I'm going to go real quick over this, but one way to do that is to present content, offer value to these potential customers that you have in your database via content, right? If you look, for example, at the HubSpot blog, we're going to have a bunch of resources that our buyer personas really enjoy and they download it. But once they download it, we're going to ask them to let us connect and know who they are. So we're going to have forms in there that are going to be capturing that information and feeding our own database so we can really understand what's going on in there. Who are these folks that are stored in our database? And this also is going to help you nurture. So we can create campaigns for this that will have different objectives. One objective would be to capture the information of these folks. Other objectives could be to nurture these potential leads into advancing in their purchase process. And you can see here that we have incorporated a lot of prompting into the CRM. And in this case, we can tell HubSpot what kind of campaign is. I would recommend a lot setting up the goals, the audience, and of course, if you have any specific targets about it, so you can give it a grid, and HubSpot is going to create something like that looks like this, which is, it's going to give you landing pages, it's going to give you forms, it's going to give you marketing emails, a blog post, maybe a podcast episode. So you're basically creating a campaign that used to take like 1 month. You're going to be creating it in 60 minutes, right? With this studio that we have now. And of course, you can go to each of the assets and review that there's no hallucinations, etc., etc. So you can see how easily it is to set up your go-to-market campaigns, your go-to-market infrastructures, having a landing page, a form, marketing email, maybe a blog post to capture traffic, to show up in the generative engines, some files that you can add, for example, a guide. All that you can start with doing just to capture and nurture this different profiles and this different information that you want to collect from the database, right? So once you're fitting your CRM, you can also try different channels. And one of the channels that has been very efficient is to have bots, right? In your website, to have bots in your social media, whatever you want it. So you can create, let's say, a live agent so you can start talking to your customers via Hubspot. It's going to give you some examples here. And with this, you can also include questions on the different profile that there is, right? This is a live agent. So once you have this on your website, you're going to be able to manage these conversations with your customers. And of course, you can also um, set it up so when you're not online or one of your staff is not online, uh, the bot will take the conversation for you. And you can create this also for the knowledge base. Um, you can create a customer success agent as well, with AI. And this kind of bot is going to use all the information that you have in your database. You can feed it information from your product. You can feed it information from whatever kind of documentation that you might have. And the support agent is going to incorporate all that information and is going to make its best effort to handle all your communications with your customers without you having to intervene, which is fantastic, of course, because I know that founders are very busy, right? Again, this kind of bots will help you capture information because when you interact with the bot is going to be asking you, hey, what's your age? Or where do you live? Or can you share an email? All that information is going to get captured into your CRM. So you're going to be feeding and understanding your customers better. Another functionality that has been recently launched is that you can enrich your customer information with AI, right? So it's like you have an email, and this is one of the new functionalities that we have, and you're going to be able to just from that email tell HubSpot like enrich this contact, and HubSpot is going to dig into many sources and it's going to start to feed information into the different properties that you have, right? Um, so let's say that I wanted to pick up maybe the location or maybe the company or maybe the LinkedIn tab. I could ask the AI functionalities to enrich these contacts, right? Another thing that I think is becoming really cool is that if you have a property that is very subjective, let's say that I want to know if this person is a decision maker. You can create a custom property that is a prompt, right? So we can generate just a property that is basically comes from a prompt. Hey, HubSpot, tell me if this person is a decision maker. Tell me how likely is this person to buy in the next month. You can use your imagination and any business questions that you might have from somebody. Say we can use this contact. uh, it gives you the property that you can create. So in this case, the property label Decision maker, made sense, didn't hallucinate. Field type, single checkbox. Drop down options, yes or no. And I will be able to preview. Of course, it's not identifying the different contacts because these are fake emails. But if I had like let me see, uh, let's say this contact is going to give you, okay, it doesn't have the data, but once it has the data, we can definitely feed it into our CRM, right? So this is a really cool functionality. Why? Because you can definitely create these new properties that are very subjective. Vicente is asking if it is a free text chatbot or predefined text box. Some are predefined and some you can configure. Tere, you had a question?
No, I was just going to point out that Vicente asked a question.
Okay. Thank you so much. Great. Um, so yes, so setting up the properties is super important. And again, I think it's now more important than ever because right now, what you really, really want to do with the generative engines and everything is be very specific, be very deep, like general content, general questions, general emails are not going to work anymore because now basically you can personalize massively every single email that you send. So the most important thing that you can feed, that you can have is to know your customer, how much you know them, how much you understand the customer, and how good the data it is for you with the customer, because the AI engines are going to use that information. And you can see that if there is no information, it just doesn't work. So more than ever, um, defining those segments is going to help you really, really reach out to them and personalize everything in your go-to market. So now that we understand a little bit how to capture that information, how to bring, how to know our customers, how to understand which would be the best properties, uh, what's the next step? What's the next step? Well, now you understand them. Now you have them in your HubSpot. Now you have them in your customer base. What you want to do is to sell to them, right? You want to sell to your potential customers. I've heard that's like a very popular goal that founders have, right? So, how do you sell? Well, potentially, when you're working specifically, I see a lot of companies that work with B2B, meetings are a very important part of your sales process, right? And before setting up any content, any incentives for these folks to meet with you, you want to make it the easiest for them to meet with you, right? And how do you do this? By simply creating a meetings link. This may sound very obvious, but I cannot tell you how many times I see founders that just try to set up meetings by sending emails, and it's going to take 6 back and forth. It's going to be super complicated. So make it easy for them to meet with you with one of these meeting lists. I'm going to give you an example of the meeting links that I have. So this is for booking launch sections with me. I'm going to have a personalized name for the session. I can include a description also with personalizations, right? With the contact tokens or company tokens. So I have the name of the person, and I can select the possibilities that you can, the different possibilities for scheduling. I'm going to stop for a question from Felipe. Thank you, Felipe. The triggers for mailing, for example, like if I can connect with GCP, what is a GCP, and give this. Yes, this kind of functionalities, Felipe, you can create them via workflows. Uh, I can show you. I don't have. I can give you a look at what the workflows are for at the end, and you can see how it works a little bit. I think you can now even create workflows via prompt. So just tell HubSpot, hey, if this happens, do this, and it's going to create a workflow for you. So I'm going to show you how that works at the end. Don't let me forget it because it's a really really cool tool. Um, and why before having a meeting instead having workflows? Because the workflows are meant to generate an action from this customer, and this action is going to be a lot of the times to meet with you. So you can create this. You can see how it looks. And how easy it's going to make it for your companies, for your potential customers to meet with you. So I usually share this link. This could be incorporated into a call to action, like if you build an email campaign, and the goal of that campaign is to generate meetings. Well, you're going to have a call to action that says book a meeting for a demo or book a free consultancy or whatever. And your customers are going to click on that and they're going to be able to very easily select the meeting that they want for you. So this is one for setting workshops. So we can say, what kind of workshop do you want? We can ask any questions. Of course, I want to subscribe to the communications of HubSpot. They're fantastic. And now you can see that with a couple of clicks, a lot of folks have seen that with Calendly as well. You can have this meeting set up, and it's going to be synced with your calendar, and it's going to just, put it in there, confirm, send the emails. In this case, we have October 29. So this is what it's going to look like in your calendar. You can see that it's booked. And of course, it's also going to show here that this person, this could be, again, an investor, this could be a potential customer, is going to show that Rafael Obando, in this case, set up a meeting with me. And this information, again, is going to go into the contact record, where you are going to be able to see all this activity that is happening. And again, if you're registering this activity on your CRM, the generative engines are going to use this to understand, for example, how advanced in their purchase process a specific contact is, to understand what may be their main goals. And you can even ask questions and prompt questions that are going to be using this information. This is why it's so important to register all that is happening with, in this case, Ethan. So you're going to be able to feed this information into the different GPT models, right? So again, once you've created the meetings link, you also want to have opportunities to capture that information. And that's what I want to set up. I would set up at least one form with the most basic contact information, like email, first name, second name. So you can also include that form in several places, like your meetings link, or maybe you create a piece of content and you just ask for them to share. If they want a consultation, for example, you can create one of these forms and then embed it in any of your websites or your emails or whatever you want to place it. You can see that you can configure the different properties here. And let me just find, you can add any property that is relevant to you, or remove ones, or edit it, right? Let's say that I don't want to know your annual revenue, but I may want to know if they offer perks. So I can look for the property that I want to include here and add it to my form, right? Going going to be a multi-step form. And having forms is super important as well, because again, when you have visitors or you do campaigns, the most important thing is to start a relationship with those customers, and you start that relationship by adding by adding the by adding forms into your website. So let me show you this template that you can use, very easy. And this is the thank you page. You can also edit this. I recommend including maybe another call to action, like thank you for submitting the form. Click here to talk to sales or to download a demo or whatever call to actions you might want to have. You can have them here, right? So once you've created these forms and you have the information, another thing that you can do is create either email campaigns or sequences, right? Those are paid products, but sequences is always a great tool. So HubSpot does the follow-up with you. So you can select from one of our templates. Maybe you have your own HTML style, and then you can start creating those emails to nurture your companies. And again, here's a CTA. Now that you have created a CTA or a form, you can include here your meetings link, right? The link for the meetings, and say like book a free consultation, and edit those call to actions so the email campaigns that you're sending really relate to the goal that you want to generate, right? So go well, like email is great as a way to drive new leads and new customers when you offer a ton of value inside those emails, and of course when you target the right audiences. Again, back to capturing the information, building your buyer persona. If you send the right email to the right buyer persona, it's going to be super effective. Otherwise, it's not going to work, and it might hurt your reputation in online sources and your deliverability. So now you have created like all this infrastructure to capture the information, to generate those meetings. What's going to happen? You're going to get deals. You're going to get opportunities, right? To talk to these customers, to follow. And we've seen also a lot of these companies do this when they're raising capital. They're going to create one of these pipelines for investors as well. And why do you want to create this? Because if you start to scale, following up on a Google Drive doesn't work. You're going to forget about the follow-ups. You're not going to be able to understand what's happening inside your pipeline. So we really recommend founders to map their sales process and translate it into a pipeline, right? In this case, for example, we built an amazing email campaign with the right audiences and right personas, and they booked a meeting using a link. That's when Felipe, I can create an automation, for example, that creates a deal with me, a deal for me, and it's going to include it here. I can also do this manually, right? So let's say that Tere clicked on my email, and now we have an appointment to talk about the deal type. I can, create any properties that I want and add it to my pipeline. Again, very important to edit and understand your sales process and map it. So this pipeline tool is going to be reflecting what you do. You can see here that it took me to a deal profile where I can take notes, I can send emails from here. In this case, I can associate it with a different contact. I don't think that is in the CRM, but if she were, of course, I would associate it with Tere. And from here, I can do any activities and follow up. And let's say that Rachel is associated with this deal. So I know that Riley Lynch is associated to this deal. The company, I can add a company right here. And of course, I can also create tasks for myself or for somebody else. To do something like this, right? And I'm gonna assign it to a colleague so they can follow up and make sure that nothing slips through the cracks. I cannot tell you how much money has been lost just because somebody forgot to call and then they purchased from the competitors. This is gonna help you avoid that and you be the competitor that reaches out at the right time. So again, you can see that you have the different stages here. This is a typical B2B SaaS: appointment schedule, qualified to buy, presentation schedule, decision maker bought in, you send the contract, and you lost or you won the deal, right? If you have a different stage, you can very easily edit them here, right? And you can also include some automation into this pipeline. For example, if I have a template or a letter of intent that that I usually send to a customer when they schedule a presentation, I can create a workflow here and then select to send, for example, an email. It can be an internal notification. It can be create the task for my co-founder, for example, like follow up with this guy, right? Or it can be a communication via email, whatever potential you have. You can say, okay, send letter of intent right here. Once a deal goes from this stage to this other stage, it gives me a preview. And now I don't have to remember to send that email when a deal advances, for example, from presentation schedule to decision maker. It's gonna be automatic. All I have to do is maybe manually drag. Like I scheduled the presentation, we did it, and they got buy-in. I just move the deal to this other stage, and that email is going to be sent to Wayland Anacola, right? Immediately. No need for anything else. So this is one of the, like a very good example of how you can leverage the automations just to being able to focus on what's important. Again, you created a task, so you can go and follow up with the different tasks that you might have here, right? So you make sure that you don't miss those deals just because you didn't do it. And of course, every single thing that you do, it's super important to understand and measure, right? Because you want to improve. You want to improve and you want to do the things that work best. You want to know how many calls you're getting. You want to know maybe you have a sales team, how many activities they're doing. So you can set up all your data in a single dashboard and understand those or use those metrics to understand your sales process and take improvements. But there is, you can see that we created a pipeline. And from that pipeline and that behavior, I can create a report like this, for example, that is going to tell me how many of the deals that went from deal record created, how many went to scoping even, how many went to planning, how many went out to signature, how many of these customers became customers as a percentage of the deals that I got, right? And this is super important because this can also give me insights on whether I would be losing customers in one of these specific stages. For example, scoping event, I can go to the part of the sales process that is making me lose customers and see if I can remove friction from it and improve all this conversion, right? So this is one of my favorite graphs, which is the deal funnel conversion that I truly suggest that you set up because it's going to give you a ton of insights on your customers. And of course, a lot of the stuff that is happening right now is focused on AI. So one of the things that I show, which is the customer agent, can also be used. There's also like a prospecting agent that can help you understand which would be the biggest priorities to reach out. Like this is I wanted to show you specifically free tools, so I'm not gonna dig in a lot on these ones, but I truly recommend that you set up these processes. But always remember, now the competitive advantage doesn't come from the tool that you use, the AI that you use, but it's going to come from the information and the prompting and whatever you feed into that engine. And that's going to give you an edge in your competitor. So more important than ever to have that data, to record that data. So once you have a bot, an artificial intelligence doing the job for you, that robot is going to be using the best information they have. So I know Felipe wanted to see an example of the automations. So I'm going to show you the workflows. I think this is the, I mean, before the AI age, this would be one of the most potent tools that Hubspot has. And what it is I like to think it as a programming language, but it's very simple. So you can create automated actions based on different triggers. So in this case, you can set up, I don't know, for example, somebody clicked on an email or somebody booked a meeting with me, right? Let's say that somebody booked a meeting with me. That would be the trigger, right? That is going to generate a different action. So what do I want to do if somebody set up a meeting with me? Maybe I want to send an email thanking them, right? So I created an email that is going to thank them for setting up the meeting and potentially sending some documents, right? Once I set up that email, I also want to send an email to myself or maybe create a task, right? Or maybe if this person belongs to marketing, I want to send a different email than if this person belongs to a sales organization, right? So I can include different branches and split my workflows based on those branches, right? So I send an email thanking them, and now I want to send them the different documents if they're marketing. So if they're marketing, maybe I want to send a different email. Maybe I want to assign the marketing contact, right? So to the specific team that is focused on selling um, to the marketing folks. There you go. We can rotate it to an owner, and we can select the specific teams or the specific owner that I want to attach this to. And of course, the rest is imagination, right? Basically, we were having a conversation yesterday with an expert, with Alvaro Moya, on AI. And one of the recommendations was go and look at your sales processes. Go and map every process and see where you can remove friction. I would suggest the same to leverage this kind of tools and AI tools, is to really understand how you are selling to your customers. What is this process? What questions they're asking? What are they requesting from you to ask? And then map it. And from there, you can build these automations that basically I mean, this workflow is alive all time, 24/7. I can select that if they download a document from something like that, if they request a free trial, any trigger that I can imagine, I can put it here, and it's going to be on 24/7, encouraging the actions that you want to motivate from your customers. So this of course is a good way to automate this process.
Yeah,
So
thanks.
I don't know, Felipe, if
Yeah. That's one of the things that I've been working on lately, and been having struggle with Zapier or other like SaaS or CRMs. So I think it's very key. And that's why I popped the question on understanding what the triggers, what actions, and all that. But seems amazing. Thank you.
all right, good. Yeah, and again, I think the next step, and I don't know if it's a beta, but it's just prompting. Like if a customer does this, do this, just prompt it, and you don't have to go through this interface.
Okay, amazing.
Cool. Well, folks, that's all the tools that I wanted to show you. Thanks again for being here. If you have any additional questions, I think we have programmed like 90 minutes, so we can discuss these different questions. And of course, thanks again.
Thank you so much, Rafa, for this session. I think it's amazing all you can do with Hubspot. So guys, if you have any questions, you can take advantage of this session and go ahead and ask Rafa right now. And if you don't, well, you can always email me if you have any questions in the future, and I will be happy to help you.
Let me
Rafa, just a
share.
follow-up question.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for your email. I will save it. So it's actually two questions. Is there any free trial or something like that I can try for like a week option or?
Yes, I can send me an email.
Okay.
Not to this one, but to this one. People don't forget my email.
Ron.
Spanish-speaking people. And I can activate a trial for you.
Okay.
Just if you can send me in the email the tools that you want to try and for how long, I can set up an email for you.
Sure.
A trial.
Thank you. Okay, amazing. It would be mostly directed to like all this triggering on our different like payment or buying stages as you were talking about.
Cool.
Thank you very much.
But I have a question. If you open your free account, what is the difference with the free trial that you're going to give Felipe, Rafa?
So the workflows that I show, the triggers, all that, those are paid tools.
Okay.
So Startup Chile gets 90% off on those tools, right? But they're not free. So
Okay.
most of the tools that I wanted to show were free, which is why I didn't include like the sequences and the workflows, but I think it's a pretty cool tool to show, and it's very powerful.
Okay, I get it. Great.
And probably like here just guessing, but probably think a lot of startups from Startup Chile from like starting to growth or from the first one program could be in the same position of us that has like a lot of manual work on their sales process. So I think this tool particularly for me it will be very helpful, and I might understand that probably with B2C companies can be very useful for others as well. Just for like to keep the insight there for future references.
I mean, if you're doing something like a repetitive process, it's probably automatable. So yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
And again, if you have, I mean, when you have, I don't know, 50 customers, it's okay. But of course, everyone wants to have 10,000 customers, and if that's when automations are really gonna help you scale. Yeah.
Yeah, totally agree.
So really cool. Let me know. Actually, yeah, send me what you want to try out. And if anyone else wants to try out the tools, same. Um, and I can set you up, and of course let me know how it goes, Felipe, and if I can
You'll
help.
receive it like in 2 minutes. You have my email.
Okay, excellent.
Great. Okay, I will stop the recording, but if you want to keep asking questions, guys,